This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by promoter Eddie Hearn on rival territory here in Las Vegas. Eddie, how are you doing?
Doing good. I've landed, we're in Vegas, and obviously the arrivals, this is something quite unique at MGM Grand, very traditional for a Canelo-Alvarez event. I've done them myself. I've been in the home corner, I've been in the away corner. This week we're in the away corner, and I'm excited. I've been with Edgar for the last few hours. I've never actually seen an underdog so confident. Like, he's got all the gear on, the team look impressive, he's in tremendous shape, and he's ready. I think we're going to get a great fight, I really do.
I have to ask you, Eddie, obviously everybody is somewhat kind of writing him off before the bells even rung on Saturday night. Canelo talks about Edgar hasn't experienced this before. What does it take to get mentally prepared for a challenge of Canelo-Alvarez because of that aura, that sense of invincibility he brings?
You have to believe in yourself, and you have to seize the moment, right? Listen, Canelo is one of the greatest fighters of all time. But at some point, something's going to change. And you hope that it's this Saturday. You know you're going to be up against the best fighter you've ever fought before. But you've got to believe in yourself, and you've got to come to win. We're in Vegas. This is where you roll the dice. We've got to roll the dice on Saturday night. What we can't do is go in there, stay on the outside, try and survive 12 rounds, lose a decision to Canelo-Alvarez. You've got to go and try and win this fight. And that, I promise you, Edgar will do that. Now, if he's triumphant, that's down to him. I believe that he can do it. He's a good fighter. But you've got to roll the dice in there. You can't just come to survive. And Edgar Berlanga will not do that.
He said not just come to survive. With that in mind, he's adamant. He said 6th-round knockout there. We know Canelo's got a fantastic chin, but do you believe Edgar has the power to do that?
Edgar has huge power. If he lands clean, he's going to hurt anyone. Doesn't matter who it is. But we know that over the years, Canelo's had a great chin. But I'm telling you again, over time, things change. And you have to rely on Canelo-Alvarez maybe not being in his prime for someone to beat him. But whether that's Saturday, whether that's next year, who knows? But you've got a game, young, undefeated kid that is coming to win on Saturday night in Edgar Berlanga.
So yourself and Leonard Ellerbe come face to face. What was said between pair of you?
No, he just come up, gave me a little tickle, turned round, and he was there. And, you know, I think a lot of these things, like, I've been involved with so much beef over the years on, like, Twitter and Instagram. I'm certainly not, you know, whether it's Oscar De La Hoya, whether it's Bob, whether it's even Frank, but I don't take any of that personally. It's not like I'm going to see one of those guys and go, oh, I heard what you said on Twitter. Do you want some? Do you know what I mean? It's not, so it's, and he was very cordial, and then all the media come over, and it's good. Like, sometimes it's good to see someone in person and to look in their eyes rather than just writing a tweet about them. So it's been many years since I last saw him. I think he was at the James DeGale Badu Jack press conference, which was God knows how long ago, six years ago, I don't know. So yeah, it's good to work with the PBC this week, and hopefully I can help push their show for them. I'm up for it. Do you know what I mean? I think I can be an asset to the promotion and help, just like they can be an asset to my promotion if I was a lead promoter, and we can all get along. And you know, when you go back to Turki Alalshikh, bringing these people together, because we're all seeing each other more and working together a bit more on sometimes on the Riyadh season cards, it helps the relationship to make other fights as well. And I actually don't think maybe this fight would have got made if we weren't working together on those other fights, you know?
What is the relationship like between Turki Alalshikh and PBC?
I have no idea. I mean, good, I think. You know, like in the LA show, PBC had a number of fighters on. I think that I'm sure they'll have some fighters on, you know, a February card that we're working on as well in Riyadh, and other shows that are being worked on in Riyadh. So yeah, I think, you know, the thing is with His Excellency, I keep saying it, it's not that he doesn't have any loyalty to anyone, but he doesn't care who's got who. He has fights that he wants to make, and whether they're with Matchroom or Andi Purewal, he doesn't care, and that's one of the beauties of it. Do you know what I mean? One event you might have 4 fights on. The next one you might have 1 on. It just depends what matchups you've got available at that time.
There is a UFC show this weekend in Vegas as well, Eddie. How would you expect the UFC to kind of compete against the Canelo fight?
You know what? I think the whole thing is mental, right? How sad is it that we're like fencing off the 2 events against each other? The UFC at the Sphere is going to be amazing, right? Dana White puts on an incredible show, so the UFC. It's the first event at the Sphere. It's going to be amazing to watch. This event is going to be amazing, right? Canelo's arguably the biggest draw in world boxing. He's certainly the biggest draw in America. The Mexican fans adore him. It's Mexican Independence Weekend. I don't know why it's got to be like, oh, they're up against each other. It's just two great events. You know, you can have more than one event on in Las Vegas at a time. They are different audiences. There are some crossover, but just enjoy it. Like, I think boxing Twitter's mental, don't you? Like, people are so angry. Yeah, well, he hasn't sold all the tickets yet. It's like, mate, just relax. Fucking, they're both brilliant. They're both going to be dramatic. The production's going to be great on everything. It's going to be a great night. Choose your product. What's your favourite coffee?
I just have black. I just have an Americano.
Right, but from where?
Honestly, Eddie, there's no preference. Let's go Starbucks.
Like Starbucks. So what? You choose Starbucks. Someone else will choose Costa. It doesn't fucking matter. Just look at the show, choose your pick, and enjoy it. Have a great night. It's great for UFC, and you know, the talk of these two events competing together. It's just making them both bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you away from this, obviously. We mentioned Shakur earlier. From you talking to Leonard Ellerbe, Shakur tanked down the line. But what's the situation with Joe Cordina? Is he still a matchroom fight? Is promotional?
Yeah, we have an option on Joe Cordina. We're working together on this fight. Beyond that, who knows? We've worked with Joe from his debut. Obviously, we're working with Shakur Stevenson. And, you know, we have a 2-fight agreement with him to fight Joe Cordina and then William Zepeda. And then, if he wins, I feel like just because, like, if Joe Cordina hadn't lost to Kakachi, everyone would be talking about the Shakur Stevenson fight like it was a thriller. It is a thriller. Like, Joe can really fight, and at 135, he's going to be much more full of himself. And I think stylistically, that's a good matchup. But Shakur's special. Like, I think this kid's a top 5 pound-for-pound fighter now. And if he beats Joe Cordina, and if he beats William Zepeda, in my opinion, he must fight Tank. And I think that's one of the biggest fights in the sport. And I look forward to taking Leonard Ellerbe's money when that fight gets made.
Just away from this, I want to get your thoughts on Anthony Fowler's comments on TalkSport about Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois' sparring experience, where AJ seemed to rock Daniel according to Anthony. What do you make of that?
AJ rocked Daniel.
No, Daniel rocked AJ, and he could have gone in for.
I don't know. Look, sparring. What was this, like 8 years ago? Yeah, whatever. Like, I think AJ probably wasn't quite taking the sport as seriously as he is now, and Daniel can punch. I've heard multiple different stories about that. One including that AJ was stretchered out of the ring. That was the original rumour. Then Anthony said, I think about a couple of weeks ago, that he was just wobbled. I mean, the fact is, he carried on the spar. Like, if you get hurt in sparring, you don't carry on the spar. The spar carried on. Dubois is a huge puncher. AJ's a huge puncher. You're going to get hurt when shots land flush and clean, especially when you're sparring and you're not in a real fight and you're not at a full camp, etc. So this is a very, very dangerous fight. Very dangerous fight. And we take it seriously. We know AJ's the favourite, but he's going to have to perform. And we believe he's going to perform and become 3-time world heavyweight champion.
A lot of people expect to see it start kind of relatively quickly from both men. Do you expect to see kind of both letting the hands go early on?
I think it all depends on Daniel Dubois. You know, if he comes out like a train, he's going to be dangerous, but he can also get chinned in the first round. If he tries to get into the fight, I don't know what the tactic would be. Like, I don't think that he is going to be as aggressive as he was in the Hrgovic fight, because Don Charles and those people, they're smart trainers. They know that AJ's like a sniper. You make one mistake, he's switching your lights out. So you've got to be a little bit cautious. But maybe they're just saying that's our best chance. Maybe we'll just go for it. I don't know. AJ and Ben will be prepared for everything. But like I said, it's a brilliant fight. Brilliant fight.
What do you think happens?
I think AJ wins by stoppage. But you've got a young heavyweight that can punch, that's full of energy, but he does make a lot of mistakes. And if you make mistakes against Anthony Joshua, the fight is over.
It was always heard Ramirez, Chris Billam-Smith fight announced earlier. I know obviously yourself and Frank Warren and Queensberry have been involved in all of those shows out in reality. Isn't any involvement for this one at all?
I don't know. It's a new small event that's been added. I don't know if Queensberry are running that event. I'm not sure. We've known about it for a while. I think the show was originally due, I think it was talked about for America, but now it's switched back to Riyadh. Don't really know a great deal about it. Obviously our focus is on next week at Wembley, the main event there, and then the main event we've got October the 12th in Riyadh, and then moving on to obviously Queensberry's December 21 with Fury Usyk. So yeah, that's the focus, and then hopefully a card in February as well.
Just want to end on, Eddie. Obviously, I'm sure you've seen a lot of people over social media being a bit critical of the UK boxing schedule recently for what's to come. Do you understand the fans' frustrations? And this excludes the Riyadh season card next week.
Yeah, I think that we were a bit unlucky, firstly, to lose Catterall against Prograis in August, because that's a great fight. Obviously, that's now been moved to October 26, which is great. Then we lost the Billam-Smith fight against Fernandez, so we've had a little bit of bad luck. We're announcing a huge British fight this week, and we are planning, like, you have to understand, Andy, I don't mind criticism, but I don't like people not to be happy with what we're delivering. And I think although we've had bad luck, it's very much in the back of my mind and the front of my mind to make sure that we bounce back after that bit of bad luck with some big shows in the UK. And I think you're going to be very happy with what you're going to see, not just with the November announcement, but also with the plans for January and February and beyond.
Edward, do you follow that November announcement?
We could be back to the railway Inn.
Cheers, Ed.